Hi everyone, it's Helen here and thank you for joining me today. Now today we're going to be making the Christmas bonus from our 2017 Christmas series, and the papers I've used to make this album are from Dovecraft and it's called The Magic of Christmas, and this 12 by 12 version is available at Craft Stash, and I believe it's £5.39 because it's in the sale at the moment. So there'll be links for everything that I've used down below. And there'll also be a link to my blog page for this particular project as well, so don't worry about writing any dimensions down. All the dimensions will be there, so just sit back and enjoy the video. So this is the album. I'm calling it the Ultimate Christmas Album because it's basically designed to hold everything from your Christmas memories. So all the Christmas cards that you've received, your photographs and other like memorabilia and tickets if you've been to the theatre and everything. So let's have a look inside. So this is made from paper lunch bags, so they're really easy to find. I got mine from Home Bargains. These are just the normal plain brown bags with the handles. So I'll be showing you exactly how to prep your pages and how to make the binding system and everything. So I've also made some inserts here for you to put photos in, so those can slide in there. And because it's a paper bag, you have these large pockets here, so those can slide in there as well. So I've used an embossing folder for that, which I'll be showing you at the end. So these are some of the Christmas cards that we received this year. So these can fit inside here, and they can also fit on this elastic here that I've put on there. So it's kind of like a merging of a traveller's notebook style mixed in with a traditional mini book album. So these are going to be really handy for sticking in all your extra bits and bobs. So I've tried to match all of the papers as well, so I've kind of tried not to keep too many busy patterns going on, so I've used the patterns that will complement each other. So these middle sections have 2 bits of elastic, and I'll be showing you exactly how to do that. And I accidentally misjudged the papers here. I just chose the back page before I actually put it together. So yeah, so I'm going to add some extra bits here when I decorate it with my photos, just to break that up a bit. So that's the mini album. Now I did actually have this, started to design this in September, and I was going to release this before my Christmas series, but a few hours after I shared what I was doing on Facebook, on my Facebook page, I had the sad news that my father had passed away, so this kind of got put away to the side, and by the time I was ready to come back and start working again, we were well into the Christmas series, so I decided to save this for the bonus. So if you were listening in on the Facebook page and you didn't actually see any results from what I was doing, this is it. This is the surprise. This is the papers that I chose. So let's sit back and enjoy the tutorial. Right, so we're going to start off with our pages first. So I have 6 of my bags here all prepped and ready to go. So we have the 4 pockets here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So grab one of your paper bags, and as you can see, it's not a full-size pocket here, so we're going to have to make some adaptations. So you'll also need a paper trimmer. So lift up this flap here and then turn it round so it's folded in at the opposite direction. And then what we're going to do is just trim a slither off the edge of our bag. So not all of these bags were made completely square, so as you can see I have a larger end up here and a smaller end down there, so I'm just going to do my best to get that as straight as possible. So now we have our end cut off, and now we're going to fold the bag back how it was. Okay, so now we can mat our bag. So this one's quite easy, it just goes along there. So let's just take these off. The easiest way I find to do that is to pull them up like this and then start on the other end and then start pulling that down. If you do actually make a hole, it won't matter because we're going to be covering it with paper anyway, but just be careful and go slowly. Okay, so that's our bag pretty much prepped, and now we can start putting on our papers. So I do have some glue that I have ordered. I'm just waiting for that to arrive. So in the meantime, I'm just going to use a tape runner. If you want to ink your edges, you can do, so now would be the time to do that before you stick them on. Can't pick this one up. Okay, so this is the clever bit here. Just need to stick this one down as well, so just add a bit of glue here. Just using my tape runner again. Okay, so now what we need to do is just find the main section here. So you have the main section, and then you also have this flap here, so paper needs to be in front of that bit there. Oops, and we'll turn that round. There we go. I tried to put that in the wrong way. Right, so now that's in the right place, we can press that down. There we go. Just need to sort these flaps out as well. These aren't loose. There we go. And we also have this section here, so we don't want those flaps getting in the way either. So we'll glue those down. And then we put our last piece on just there. Okay, and there we have it. That's our page all done. So now you have the option here of adding extra flaps and things that fold on. So this side will be our binding side, the left hand side will always be the binding, and the right we can add things that flap over and extra pages and things for photos. And we'll also have two sections here to pop in extra cards and photographs. Binding, I have a little one here I've prepped earlier. We're not going to be using this one, this is just going to be my example, and I've used craft cardstock. So this is made from a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and I've piece of card, and I've trimmed it down. So these are our flaps here. So we've got 6 of those, they're like fins. So this is a binding system by Orta, and I'll leave a link down below. She has a new one. This is the first hidden hinge system that she put on her YouTube channel, and she has a new one out now. It's called the Hidden Hinge Plus, and that one is actually patented, but she does show on her channel how you can actually make that. So you can actually do those binding systems with this album. So let's quickly show you how to make that. So I have a 12 by 12 piece of red here, and I'm going to trim that down to 8.5. I'm going to leave it the full length at 12. So just grabbing my scoreboard here. And a bone folder. Right, so we're going to score at 2 inches. That will be our first one. And then we are going to score at 1/2 inch. Just double check that. Yep, 1/2 inch all the way up until 10.5. So I'm going to make my 10.5 here, so I know where to stop, so I don't get carried away. Okay, so that's all of our scoring done. Okay, so now for folding. It's getting pretty dark over here. Okay, so now we need to make a fin sort of system here. So let's just grab our example again. So we do have one side that is slightly longer, so we'll go for this one here. So this one actually goes this way. You fold inwards first, and this one goes the other way, and then we fold that in just like that. So using your bone folder, we're going to make a set of fins going all the way down. So now you need to do the same all along. Okay, so we have all of our folds now. So all these folds need to be stuck together on the other side. So now grab some double-sided tape. I'm going to use, I think it's just over 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to be putting these in the valley side. So there we go, there's our first one. So that will stick that one together. So then we skip 2, 1, 2, and then we do it on the third one along. skip 2. Okay, grab your bone folder again and then press down the tape. This will make it easier to lift off the backing, and also it will make sure your tape is stuck down really well to your cardstock. Okay, so peel that off and then fold that down. Grab your bone folder, press that down and then press that one open. There we go, and there we have our first hinge. So now you need to work your way down and do the same on all of them. Okay, so that's the hinges all stuck. So now we need to kind of exercise these hinges so that they can turn, because they're going to be basically pages turning. So they need to be squished this way, and then they need to be moved over and then squished down that way, just so that they move left and right really easily. So let's move these all over again. Give them another squish. There we go, and that should, if you just keep doing that, your pages should turn really easily and they won't be stiff or anything. Okay, so that's that done, and now we need to get our tape out again. I'm going to use some thinner tape now. This one measures 1/4 inch. And now what we're going to do is add double-sided tape to both sides of the hinge. Now I'm not going up to the score line here. If any stickiness goes right on the score line here, then your pages are going to stick to the rest of the hinge and then they won't turn so well. So I do want a small gap. Let's see if I can lift that up for you so you can see. It's not perfectly there, it's just probably a couple of millimeters away. And then we're going to do the same on the other side, staying away from the score line. Okay, and then work your way down and do all of the hinges. Okay, so bone folder again, and then squish everything down. Okay, so that's the front end done. Now we turn it over, and now we have to add more tape here, because this is what is going to stick this binding, and it's going to be supporting the weight of all of the pages as well on the cover of the book. So we need to make sure that we literally have loads of coverage. So I don't know if I have a larger, I don't think I do. So we're just going to stick with, if you have a larger one of these, a wider one, then go for that. So we're just going to cover this whole thing in tape, and then when I do actually glue this onto the cover, I'm going to add some wet glue as well, just to make sure that it doesn't start coming apart. You really want to make sure this book lasts as long as it can. Right, so that's all of our tape put on now. If you have wider tape, it won't take so long. So grab your bone folder again and press everything down. Okay, so we can now set this aside, and we're going to work on our main cover. Right, so I've got some grey board here. You can use mount board. This is like a chipboard, cardboard sort of thing. Now you can use cereal boxes, but it will be a slightly thinner cover, so you may have to stick two of those together. So let's give you some sizes. So these were designed to go with the paper bags that I'm using. So if you're using different size paper bags, then just go probably 1/4 of an inch larger than your bags, top and bottom. So these measure 9 1/4 by 7 1/2, so there's two of those, 9 1/4 by 7 1/2, and this one measures 9 1/4 by 3. And another thing I need to tell you, when we stick this together, we are going to leave gaps here. So let me just grab a book. So I've got a book here. Let's hold this up to the camera. So as you can see, just here, the book cover ends here, and then the spine ends here, and we have this gap here, which is literally just the paper that's been wrapped around the cover. So there's a massive gap there. It is needed so that the book can close properly. So if these ends here go all the way up to here, you'll end up with like a crocodile mouth, so your book won't actually close very well. So it's really important to have those gaps. So let's grab the papers. We're going to be going with 12 by 12 again, and we're going to be using some papers from the collection, so it's going to look really nice. So grab your paper trimmer again and a ruler. So I would like 1.5 inches either side. So I think we're good just to keep it at the 12. So we don't need our paper trimmer just yet. We're going to stick these two green pieces together to make a join in the middle. So using our tape again. And then what we'll do is we'll trim the end off so that we have 1.5 inches border all around. I've misplaced my paper piercer, so just just relying on my nails to get these off. Right, so let's get this put together. So you can use your grid mat to help you align and keep your pieces of paper straight. Right, so I've lined that up on my grid mat. Move everything away. I'm going to move that over. That looks okay. And then stick that down, and now we have an extra long, so it's almost 24 inches now with a little overlap. So we now need to prep our board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape all the way around the edges and then add some in the middle on all three, and then I'll be right back.